From the old, worn-out pages of many historical books comes one empire that appears more than any other. One so powerful that its name is still being mentioned to this day. The ancient Romans are well known for their military strength, political power, and vast colonial empire that was once the largest on the face of the planet. They developed a wide variety of mechanisms, customs, and tactics, as well as some mysterious artifacts that historians today still haven't figured out. What are these mystery items? Join us as we unravel mysteries that have endured over time, leaving historians lost for words. In August 1987, a man in Romford, East London, named Brian Campbell was refilling the hole left by a tree stump in his yard when his shovel struck something metal. He leaned down and pulled the objects from the soil. His first impression of the object was just something small, smaller than a baseball, and caked with heavy clay. He described the object as beautifully and skillfully made and probably crafted by a blacksmith as a measuring tool of sorts. Campbell placed the artifact on his kitchen windowsill, where it sat for over a decade. Then he visited the Roman fort and archaeological park in Saalburg, Germany, where he saw an almost identical object to his garden surprise in a glass display case. He realized then that his garden surprise was actually a Roman dodecahedron. A Roman dodecahedron is a small hollow object made of a copper alloy that has been cast into a regular dodecahedral shape with 12 flat pentagonal sides, each with a circular hole of varying diameters in the middle with the holes connecting to a hollow center. The first Roman dodecahedron to intrigue archaeologists was found in England in the 18th century. This object was found buried in a field in the English countryside along with some coins, which was presented to the Society of Antiquities in London in 1939, with a description that reads, "A piece of mixed metal or ancient brass consisting of 12 equal sides." This 12-sided metal mystery has baffled archaeologists for centuries. Although dozens and perhaps hundreds of explanations have been offered to account for the dodecahedrons, no one is certain regarding what they were used for. However, several hypotheses have been made by scholars in that regard. In the mid-19th century, as more of these objects were found, they became known to archaeologists as dodecahedrons, from the ancient Greek word for 12 faces. Today, these objects are on display in dozens of museums and archaeological collections all over Europe. Given how little is known about them, their explanatory labels tend to be brief. Archaeologists cannot explain the geometric function of these artifacts, as no written record about them has ever been found. This void has encouraged dozens of competing and sometimes colorful theories about their purpose, from military banner ornaments to candle holders to props used in magic spells. In the 19th century, some antiquarians favored the theory that the dodecahedrons were a type of weapon, perhaps the head of a mace or a metal bullet for a handheld sling. But as other scholars later pointed out, even the largest of the dodecahedrons are too light to inflict much damage. Moreover, Roman soldiers usually fired solid lead balls from their slings with no similar attributes to the dodecahedron. As weapons were not the only items useful in war, this idea gave a physicist in Italy's Politecnico di Torino named Emilia Sparavigna the idea that the dodecahedrons were used by the Roman military as a type of rangefinder. The physicist argued the artifact could have been used to calculate the distance to an object of known size, such as a military banner or an artillery weapon, by looking through pairs of the dodecahedron's differently sized holes until the object and the edge of the two circles in the dodecahedron aligned. Theoretically, according to Sparavigna, only one set of holes for a given distance would line up. This theory is strengthened by the fact that several of the dodecahedrons have been found at Roman military sites. Sparavigna stated, "The small little studs on the outside allow for a good grip of the object, so an expert soldier can use it in any condition, while the many pairs of holes allowed them to quickly select between a variety of ranges." However, many scholars disagree with Sparavigna's theory. In 2006, a historian named Tibet Grill at the University of Hungary pointed out that no two Roman dodecahedrons are the same size, and none have any numerals or letters engraved on them, and these markings you might expect on a mathematical instrument. In his opinion, the practical function of this instrument can be excluded because none of them have any inscription or signs on them. He points to the distribution of the objects as an important clue. They have been found across a northwestern swath of the former Roman Empire from Hungary to northern England, but not in other Roman territories in the Middle East. This fact works against the idea that the objects were military devices. If it was a tool for ranging artillery, why does it not appear all over the empire in a military context? Many speculations have been recorded regarding the use of the Roman dodecahedrons. Some scholars are of the notion that they were perhaps used for play and not war. Several scholars have suggested that they may have been part of a child's toy, similar to the French cup and ball game known as bilboquet, which dates from the Middle Ages. The Israel Antiquities Authority announced the discovery of a ship's cargo that includes 1800-year-old Roman period marble architectural columns. This discovery was made recently by an ocean swimmer named Gideon Harris, who contacted the Israel Antiquities Authority after he uncovered some ancient columns off Beit Yanai Beach, 6 kilometers north of the city of Netanya, between Haifa and Tel Aviv on the Mediterranean coast. Kabi Sharvit, director of the Underwater Archaeological Unit at the Israel Antiquities Authority, stated that the party has been aware of the existence of the shipwreck for a long time. He said, "We didn't know its exact whereabouts as it was covered over by sand, and we could therefore not investigate it. The recent storms must have exposed the cargo, and thanks to Gideon's important report, we have been able to register its location and carry out preliminary archaeological investigations." Archaeologists believe these ancient architectural elements were shipped to be potentially used on a public building, either a temple or a theater. The almost 1800-year-old cargo from the Roman period probably originated from the Aegean, the Black Sea, Turkey, or Greece, and was likely destined for one of the ports on the southern Levant coast, such as Ashkelon, Gaza, or possibly Alexandria in Egypt. According to Sharvit, the fine pieces are characteristic of large-scale majestic buildings, and while similar architectural objects were often made of local stone and covered with white plaster, these particular underwater treasures were made of genuine marble. Swords have always been a part of the ancient history of dominating empires, and archaeologists in Israel have discovered 4 Roman swords alongside a javelin head. These Roman-era swords were located in a cave near the Dead Sea, and while they are estimated to be around 1900 years old, these artifacts seem to be very well preserved. The swords have wooden and leather hilts, and their steel blades are all between 60 and 65 centimeters long. The researchers have not carbon dated the weapons, but they think the artifacts came from a Jewish uprising against the Romans in the 130s CE. Researchers stumbled upon the swords by chance, as they had come to the cave to take pictures of a stalactite with an ink inscription in ancient Hebrew found 50 years ago. Finding a single sword is rare enough, but unearthing 4 at the same time, the researchers had to rub their eyes at this discovery. According to an archaeologist named Guy Stiebel, the artifacts were not made locally, but were likely forged in a faraway European province. Traveling vast distances alongside their owners, each item tells an entirely different story, reflecting a much grander narrative of the entire Roman Empire. Researchers assume that Jewish rebels seized swords from the Roman army and hid them in a cave during the Bar Kokhba revolt, a Jewish rebellion against the Roman Empire that took place between 132 and 135 CE. The rebels didn't want to be caught carrying these weapons, so they hid them in a cave. Ultimately, the rebellion was unsuccessful, and the Jews suffered heavy losses, resulting in them being persecuted in the revolt's aftermath. Further research is said to be in progress with the aim of finding out who owned the swords, where, when, and by whom they were manufactured. This massive 2,000-year-old complex, containing a trove of ancient Roman artifacts, was uncovered beneath a gravel quarry in Switzerland, and it is said to have been lying beneath the forest floors in the foothills of the Alps for thousands of years. The discovery is extremely rare for the country, as this is the first time a relic of such magnitude would be found in the area in nearly a century. At the beginning of the year, archaeologists noticed the partial remains of the ruins poking out of the ground, and since then, they have been systematically digging out the stone building. Though the complex has yet to be completely uncovered, archaeologists estimate that its walls extend over an area of at least 5,300 square feet and contain multiple rooms. What purpose the monumental building served is yet to be discovered, and scientists are still questioning whether it was a temple or simply a villa that provided a view of the stunning mountains and reservoirs surrounding what would later become a quarry. Items discovered thus far inside the structure are already giving archaeologists an insight into the lives of ancient Romans who called the Swiss Alps home around 20 AD. Roman tableware, manufactured glass vessels, and gold fragments likely belonging to a piece of jewelry have been lifted from the ruins for preservation. In addition to copper and bronze coins, a silver coin of Julius Caesar from the 1st century BC was also uncovered. The face of the coin shows an elephant trampling on what is presumed to be a dragon or a snake. Large numbers of iron nails speak for a wooden construction. Valuable relics from various cultures have been discovered across the area in recent decades, including the remains of a settlement from the Middle Bronze Age, graves from the Late Bronze Age, and numerous coins from the Celtic era. However, ruins from ancient Rome are a rare find in the Alpine region. After a thorough examination, archaeologists have stated the wall from the ruins would be moved to a secure indoor home for preservation. Earlier this year, 2 silver Roman coins known as denarii were discovered on Gotska Sanden, an isolated island off the southeastern coast of Sweden in the Baltic Sea. According to researchers, one of the coins dates to the rule of the Roman Emperor Trajan from 98 to 117 AD, while the second dates to Antonius Pius's time in 161 AD. Experts say these coins are an exciting, rare find, but they have led to more questions. Similar silver coins are not unusual in the neighboring island of Gotland, but archaeologists say they are unsure how the coins ended up in Gotska Sanden. One working theory proposed by experts is that the coins came from an ancient shipwreck along the island's coast. Another is that the coins are somehow connected to the remains of hearths and fireplaces that have also been found around the island. Other theories tie the coins to an ancient settlement on the island, or that the coins are linked to the ancient production of seal oil. The Roman Empire managed to create one of the largest empires in world history, resulting in their language, culture, and way of life spreading like wildfire across the developing world. One can only imagine the number of ancient relics left behind by the Roman people, lying in wait to be uncovered. What discovery did you find most shocking? The mysterious dodecahedrons, the ancient swords used in the Roman era, the discovery of the 2,000-year-old building, or the silver coin from the time of the Roman general Julius Caesar? Let us know in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.